Alright, they're finishing up their shuffling and begin to play any moment here. Got a step so we can see the live totals as we go. Alright, they're finishing up their shuffling and begin to play any moment here. Got a step so we can see the live totals as we go. So we watch this in stream. Where is everyone from? Are you local and have you been here before? Definitely feel free to ask us any questions in the chat. We're keeping an eye on that. We'll answer the best we can. If time allows, I will bring the winner of the matches back here to sort of, build a deck tech if they choose. Cannot force them to do that. So any questions about the decks, you think about if they come back, we'll have them on. You can see that also. Looks like we're getting underway. They are going to decide whether they're going to keep the 7 or if they are going to go with a mulligan to start off the game. Looks like they've both kept, and Steev Wymer started off with a Temple of Malady.
Danny will crack his fetch and go search. Play a forest.
Steev Wymer plays a Elvish Visionary off the Lenore Waste he played and triggered his draw. Danny will gain a life off of his coming to play tapped land. Steev Wymer attacks for 1. No blocks. Follows up with a Nantuko Husk after the attack.
Now that's a very big part of this deck for anybody not familiar with the deck Steev is playing. What you want to do with this rally deck is you want to get a lot of stuff into your graveyard, and then you want to swing with your Nantuko Husk and get through for a big one-shot. Thunderbreak Regent.
And Danny plays the Thunderbreak Regent. Very strong play this turn. Steev also cast Resolving Collective Company.
if you refresh your page, you will see that it is standard now. But thank you very much. Grim Harrisbow on the play by Wymer. So again, this lets him reload his hand consistently.
He did the neg on Liliana, bringing the Visionary back to play to draw another card. Sorry about that. Get the live totals correct. I missed a few points of damage there. Danny stride to the bottom.
It's a Surrock on the board now, and he is active, but it may be a little bit late considering the board state that Steev has right now.
Steev will block with the Visionary.
Now Steev will flip his Liliana back to the creature form because once it leaves play, it turns back into the creature.
The damage was done to Liliana off the Thunder Break. He blocked the Surrock with the Visionary. And Steev is swinging with everything. Look for damage. Cast Collect a Company. Looks like he brought in a Merciless Executioner and a Fleshbag Marauder.
Yeah, Fleshbag Marauder. Big help right there.
And 5 damage is assigned. Brings Danny down to 10. He's about to have some major tempo swings here to get back into this match.
Yeah, I think right there I see a glimpse of Rally in Steve's hand. So unless Danny does anything major here, it may be the end.
And another follow-up with Surrock. And swings with both.
I think that Steev is willing to take that damage. It's pretty telling.
Definitely a pretty hefty swing by Danny, but I think it's a few turns too late to make an impact in this match. Sacrifices the Executioner to the Tuco Husk. Also another follow-up sacrifice there. Definitely setting up for a rally, which is coming right now. See, several triggers on the stack as well here. We'll definitely get a flip from Liliana and just be able to swing out and sacrifice everything to the Tuco Husk there. So bleeding already, we have, and there is the lethal swing. We'll be going to game 2 with sideboard. I would assume that Danny would be definitely bringing an anger for an early board wipe. Depending on, if the Tusk doesn't have anything else to sacrifice, I guess early enough would be a good sweeper at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Anger of the Gods seems like it'd be alright. Possibly roast.
We'll definitely probably see some sideboarding by both sides. I'm sure it'll be probably more sideboard heavy on Danny's side with the red-green deck there than with Steev. His deck's pretty tight, especially against the aggro decks.
You may see Steve side in something like Valorous Stance and try to get rid of some of those larger toughness creatures that Danny plays. I'd say, I don't know.
Going to get the electricals reset here. Get ready for the next match.
I'm surprised we didn't see a Mogis Marauder come out on the board that game. It may have just been because he didn't really need it.
I couldn't tell for sure. I think I saw one when he did Coco, and I think he put it on the bottom, but he had definitely better options to pick up at that point. That is the one great thing about good and bad. You'd like to have that nice top deck, but sometimes you throw it on the bottom, so you have to pick your best two, but still a great card. It's worth that sacrifice.
Yeah, so we'll see if we see any more spot removal from Danny to try to take care of some of the combo pieces for this deck. Also to see board wipe removal all around.
We got through game 1 pretty quick. Still plenty of time on the clock. It's about 33 minutes to go. We do have both standard and modern playing here tonight for our FNMs. I'm not sure if I will get to modern or not. Depends on how the timing goes of the rounds. Also depends on what matchups I have available to me here as well. will more than likely stay with Standard, as Modern Season's sort of to the wayside now. The most big events will be going to the new Standard format we're seeing here. Heavy aggro decks. Still see the control decks here and there. Not sure if any Thopter decks here today. Would like to get a matchup with the Thopter deck, as they've been doing pretty good, as we saw with the Pro Tour last weekend. If there's any decks you guys would like to see, definitely let us know. I'll see if we have them playing tonight, or if they want to be on stream. If not, I'll try to stay, the higher matches, people you would see in the top this evening. Also, don't forget, tomorrow night is the Origins game day, firing off at 7 o'clock. And if you're not familiar with where the Goblin Traders is at, it is at 314 Center Street in Ironton, Ohio. Definitely stop on in. We're more than happy to have you in. There's always some casual magic going on. Most nights we have tournaments of different formats. You can check our Facebook page for the calendar on that. Currently we're having Hopper and Tiny leaders throughout the week, as long as drafts and starts the game night. And we are going to start game 2 of this round.
Steve Wymer will take a mulligan, it looks like.
Excuse me. I've not seen the deck that Danny is playing completely. I don't know if it has the speed in it to go with the rally deck. Sure if it does. Danny would have mulliganed to get down to it, or had it possibly sideboard to get into the early removal or early damage to get in.
I think with the quicker decks that you would think you would see, it does okay because it has those board state blockers. Usually decks like this, they play Sylvan Caryatid, which is a great blocker. But against Rally, you can just give your guy Intimidate, and the Caryatid can no longer block.
Missing an Elvish Mystic turn 1 for Danny is probably not a good sign for the match to come. We'll see if he drops some mana rep here on turn 2, which he does with the Sylvan Caryatid. Steve plays a Windswept Heath and want to probably go for a, we'll likely say,
I'd say Plains.
Plains.
Yeah.
Depends what he has in his hand.
With this deck, you want to hit that double white as quick as possible. There's nothing really necessary in this deck for double color other than the rally.
That is true.
At this point,
Although the Satyr Wayfinder.
that's some good and some bad for Steve.
Definitely puts some decent in his graveyard. I'd hate to see the Nantuko Husk go in there, though.
Well, Nantuko Husk wasn't the big loss to me because you're comfortable with that being in there. You can always give that card Intimidate. So once you cast Rally and get it back out, it's not a big deal.
Danny following up with a second Carroted. Definitely getting the mana ramp. I would assume he's playing Dragon Lord Atarka in here, which could be huge to get on the board. He's definitely ramping that way right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we could see something like a Storm Breath from Danny next turn to try to get that early damage going.
And Steve plays the Plasmatic Marauder, getting rid of some of Danny's ramp here pretty early.
Can I ask you a question? You know what the blood was win?
And then he plays Surak. Steve's a man he wants to do on this turn here. Waiting on the cut from Danny, and he definitely accepts that. And Steve brings in a Past Hero's Downfall, taking care of Surak. So Steve definitely put in some spot removal of his own here. We have life total Steve at 18, Danny at 17. And we have Thunderbreak Regent hitting the field once again for Danny. Sure, Steve would probably like to get a little bit more in his graveyard. I do see a copy of Rally in his hand. Right now, not really anything to fish with that right now.
I feel like it's important for Danny to get pressure in now also. The longer this game lasts, I feel the more it benefits Steve.
That is for sure. Steve's definitely has explosiveness that can come out of nowhere. And a few cards in the graveyard and a Rally can do some damage and clear Danny's board completely, depending on what he has available in the graveyard when he casts it. And we have a Morph. On the Morph, I don't know what it could be morphing, maybe a Den Protector?
It could be Den Protector. I believe we're more likely to see a Grim Harris Foe. It'd be a good morph for this deck.
Maybe asking cards in hand, which Steve has two at this point. And Steve Wymer is up 1-0 in this match. We are in game 2. We're definitely correct on that, and there was the anger exiling those cards, so it was definitely a good sideboard card for Danny. He can definitely apply some pressure here and hopefully get this game back, go to game 3.
The anger really helps there by exiling. and not just letting cards go back into the graveyard and be rallied.
Steev has played a Carroted and a Nantuko Husk. At this point with the mana, Steev could always, sacrifice that to the Nantuko Husk to get it through another Anger or Spot Burn if needed. His mana's good. It always helped to have the cast rally to go up to 3 and 4 drops, but it's something that Steev could let go to let the Nantukos live another turn if needed.
I think it is a need at this point. I think he might sack it just so he would have more pump available. But I think he needs that extra pump later on for the Nantuko Husk to get through.
Life aren't available on the table, but he just took 4 more from the Thunder Break. Puts him down to 10. Steev is swinging with the Husk right now.
That's why we're playing rally.
Reflecting 4 damage, Collective Company by Steev. Really hoping to have Danny sacrifice the Thunderbreak Regent and get that out of the way right away. It's definitely a threat for Steev coming over the top. He hit another Nantuko Husk and a Merciless Executioner, so it was right on. Great timing to pull that off with the Collective Company. Of course, he will sacrifice Executioner to itself on that trigger. Danny has something to at least help out quite a bit here.
It looks like a Yasova Dragon Claw. That's something I didn't expect to see. But it also may be too little, too late, unfortunately.
Can I ask you a question? Sweeney is the active player.
I'll go look.
And Steev just cast Rally the Ancestors, so that is huge for him at this point. Got several triggers coming in here. The Executioner with Liliana is just an amazing interaction that you're going to hit every time on the Rally the Ancestors. Quite a bit of damage coming through here. It's definitely not enough to take any out this time, I don't think, but it's going to be quite a bit. I'm going to update the live totals here. That's Danny at 13. There's no additional sacrifices there at all at this point.
You know where the ibuprofen is, Bryce? The ibuprofen?
And we have Anger of the Gods cast by Danny. At this point, we'll definitely see sacrifices to keep the Indigo Husk alive. Steve will sacrifice to each to do that. Not sure what's in Steve's hand, but if it is probably the Ancestors or a collective company, maybe enough to get him there this turn. This runner definitely helps there. And taking quite a bit of damage, going down to 7. Okay, he plays Thunderbreak Regent. Looks like right off the top. And that is the game. Steve Wymer wins this matchup 2-0. Thought Danny was going to pull this one out early. Steve definitely had all the answers coming back after the Anger that Danny played. Fired right back into it. All the Ancestors is just a great card with all the interactions right now. Those available for it.